Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana Market update video. Today is Monday, the 16th of September. Hope you all had a good weekend. Hopefully your NFL team won. If you are an NFL fan, Chiefs Kingdom's 2-0. We're rolling, we're vibing. Super good game against the Bengals. Little ref, I don't know, the guy was early. Everyone online calling it a bailout. It was a makeup call for the hands to the face on the previous play. But nevertheless, hope you guys all had a good weekend. We're going to talk about a few things today. We're talking about Azurite Seed. We're going to talk about expected value of the booster boxes. First chapter, Floodborn. We're going to go into some individual cards. Kind of the whole nine. Should be a decently long video. With that being said, quick reminder, as always, do not pre-order sealed Disney Lorcana on TCG Player. Ravensburger has a 2-week dead period where the new set releases and it can only be bought in person at your LGS. It cannot be shipped. And so if you pre-order on TCG Player, it will be 2 weeks after the initial release. A lot of the fun of opening these new sets is the expected value of the boxes is at its highest point in the beginning. And then as more supply goes onto the market and more singles get opened and printed, are listed, the expected value goes down. So if you want a chance to pull an Enchanted and to list these singles and make some of your money back, the best bet really is to get it the day of release. Open your packs, get the cards sold. Now there is always an equilibrium there where the playable cards actually go up over time most of the time, versus the cards that aren't playable, they're going to go down over time. So if you have some playable cards, it definitely, if you know the meta and you have a good sense of what's going to go up and what's going to go down in terms of meta play, then you can make even additional funds kind of holding some of those cards. But with that being said, do not pre-order Azurite Seed because you're going to get it 2 weeks after everybody else, and the prices aren't even that good. They're actually higher. You're going to be able to get a case from your LGS most of the time. I've heard some horror stories, but most of the time for like sub 500 day of release. Probably somewhere around like 480 is like usually where I can get them day of release on LGS release, which is really nice. So just be very careful, guys. Unless you don't have an LGS, I would just advise not buying sealed product on TCG Player in terms of pre-orders. Now, obviously, anything else, fair game, but just be careful on pre-orders, guys. Expected value for our booster boxes today. We haven't gone over this for a while, so I thought it'd be worth mentioning. First chapter, and then a quick recap for those of you who may be new to our channel. Someone in the community sends this to me, so this is not something that I'm doing myself, but they essentially run any card that's 35 cents or greater in market value for each set across a formula, and it spits out what the expected value of a given box should be. It assumes normal pull rates with 1 in 96 is your enchanted pull rate. And so I think, honestly, most of the time the story is if you pull an enchanted, you're going to be plus EV. If you don't pull an enchanted, you're going to be minus EV on what you paid. But at the end of the day, it comes down to your cost basis for acquiring the boxes. This is just a good guide for what you should get back in return. $204 for the first chapter, $108 for Rise of the Floodborn, $103 for Into the Inklings. Ursula's Return is still at $71, and then Shimmering Skies is down at $90. So Shimmering Skies has seen a significant decrease since we last went over expected value. A couple weeks ago, that box was holding strong around 105, 110. We've now seen a very dramatic drop off down to 90, which is pretty insane. I know Mufasa and some of the other cards are still holding very strong, but it would appear that a lot of the bottom fell out of quite a few cards there. The first chapter, I wanted to talk about that because we haven't seen any sort of price movement yet there. It's still holding very strong. Cheapest case is like 910, 920. Cheapest individual box is 223, and so we're still seeing elevated prices. As a reminder, the people who got the most recent Amazon sale, those boxes said that the expected ship date is October. Now, when I got my MSRP price box from Ravensburger, my ship date was initially quite a ways out, but then it was here within like a week, not even a week. So I think that we're probably going to get them sooner than October. If it does wait until October, we might have some like reprint speculation going on. I'm not sure. I don't know why they would wait. You know, let's say if they ship them on October 15th, I don't know why they would wait to ship them apart from just waiting to get them in. But at the end of the day, we'll see when they come. I think that most of the people who got those sales last week will probably get those boxes today, or not today, but this week. and we'll probably start to see price movement go from there. So I would, if you're looking to get a first chapter box, I would wait, because we're probably going to see these prices come down closer to like that in between 200 to 220 mark. Once these people get the influx of their boxes, they're going to take their free 60, 70, 80 bucks. A lot of the time, and ship that product out and sell it to someone else. So with that being said, I would hold firm on first chapter right now, because we're probably going to have cheaper prices in the near term, sub 220. Obviously not a huge game changer, right? If it might be worth it, just get the box now rather than wait and save the 10 to 15 bucks, but just a heads up that I do expect more to be coming. Rise of the Floodborn is performing very well. It's pretty much the same story here. $540 for a case, like $140 pretty much MSRP for a box. I think that Rise of the Floodborn is just a fantastic set, and I've said it before, but it was overshadowed by the first chapter, and it's got some awesome princesses in it. It's got some awesome playable cards. Some of the cold foil rares, like the Madam M Fox and the Rabbit, are like $20, $30, $40 cards. There's a lot going on that's really, really good in Rise of the Floodborn. And so we're continuing to see steady increases with that box. So that's one that I think we're going to have to see, like, because this is the first chapter. Obviously the first set got a huge reprint. We know that. Rise of the Floodborn never got a reprint. It's had its initial stock, or at least that they've announced, and they've been transparent with that stuff in the past, so I don't know why they wouldn't be. But Rise of the Floodborn is one that has not been reprinted, so we'll see as Lorcana continues to grow and as demand it continues to increase, if that causes a market pressure to go ahead and reprint that set. We'll see. I would be very, very surprised, but it kind of depends the rate at which we grow, to be completely honest. If that box goes to 250 tomorrow, it's probably going to cause some internal frustrations and get those printers ramped up. But we'll see. That's all just speculation. But right now, 143 for a box is very, very strong. The most recent kind of bull case or bull scenario in Lorcana is the D23 collector's boxes. So if you guys remember, 2-3 weeks ago after the event, they were selling for like 160, 170. I thought that was incredibly fair, because they had to pay $99 to get it. They had to invest their time to stand in line to get it. They have to ship it, et cetera, et cetera. So I was advising strongly to buy it at that time. And now the box is essentially $300 all in on TCG Player. There was a little bit of a buyout, if you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, this product is just good. We look back to 9.9, which was a week ago. We had a sale at 250. And then from there, you just see every day there's a ton of boxes that sell, even up at 300. People are buying multiple copies of it. So with that being said, this product is very popular. The singles are going absolutely insane. We did see today that the Oswald from this box is a legendary, which, a legendary with an altar is going to be another huge selling item. So I would just, I wouldn't buy it at 300, because I think it's going to come back down, but I don't know that. I mean, this is one of those products. There truly just might be enough demand to run this thing up to, $300, $400, $500. I don't know. I'm not buying it at 300, because you're buying it at a market high. You can get it on eBay for 250, so this might not be a bad purchase. Just so I wanted to point that out. On eBay, you can get it cheaper. Obviously, vet the seller, do your research. But there is one for 250, which is $50 cheaper than what we're seeing on TCG Player. But these cards are going to do very, very well. The Ursula is very playable. The Oswald it would appear to be very playable, and it's going to be a legendary. The Cindy's very playable. The Brave Little Tailor is kind of the art piece, one of the big collector cards of the hobby. So I think that box it's just been going crazy, and so I wanted to at least make you guys aware of it. Switching over to some of the singles here real quick. Some of the singles of those cards are up to like $60, $70 for the D23 promos. Let's see here. Are there any on the second page? Let's just filter to the promos here. So let's go. Do they have their own D23 promos? There we go. So Ursula Deceiver low list is 69. Oswald low list is 75. You can see how quickly these are moving, because the market price is nowhere near. Oswald's market price is 50. Lowest listing is 74. BLT Mickey Mouse 41 market price. Lowest listing 74. 57 for Cindy, 28 for Bruno, 32 for Vanellope. So you can kind of see there's a lot of movement here. There's the couple playable cards and the collector's card all doing very, very well. and that's driving the price up of the box very dramatically. So if you think about that listing on eBay for $250, if you think these cards are going to continue to run, you're pretty much at, you're almost at $250 just with the first three. At $70 a piece there, you're at $210. Adding the Cindy, you're above it. You've got a couple extra cards in there. So it just makes a lot of sense at that price point. Now, I don't know if those prices are going to stick, right? We've seen them kind of move up and down. But at the end of the day, especially that Oswald, it's looking like it's going to be pretty playable, and it's a legendary. I think that card's going to do very, very well. So, not saying to go out and buy it, because once again, you are buying at a high, but just I would continue to monitor it as we continue to progress down the end of the year here. Let It Go is sitting at around 700 for the lowest listing. Really want this one to get down to around 500. We'll continue to monitor it as we get to the end of the year. We have a couple more Lorcana Challenge events, and then we're going to kind of get our, hopefully, final print numbers. I would love to see some sort of announcement in the next Lorecast on what promos are going to be included in the next Disney Lorcana Challenge circuit. Now, obviously, we have Continentals, we have Worlds, we've got a lot before we get there. I would just love to see if these cards are going to be done or not. Are they going to continue to use the Let It Go, the Cindy, and the Rapunzel into the next challenge events? Or is this a wrap, and these last couple challenge events that are happening here this year are going to be the end of them? That's where I lean, but I don't know that for a fact, and I just want an official announcement because that's going to cause these cards to do very well. I think 700 is still overpriced when it comes to the foil Let It Go. There's plenty of these cards out there. Thousands by the time we get done, or probably like 1,500 by the time we get done with all the challenge events. So that's a pretty decent pop. And I would just say 700 is quite a bit for that card. So I would continue to hold off on all of the promos for now until we get the final supply figured out. But I'm just kind of waiting on those. The Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer is a very interesting one that I've not pulled the trigger on yet. And the near mint copy is up to $195. That is just an insane price for a card that just came out. There should be, I mean, if it's anything like the original 2022 D23, there were plenty of the Mickeys around. That card's obviously, it's got the first edition stamp, so an additional level of prominence, and it's just older and rarer. But this card hanging at 200 is it just speaks to the growth of the game. And cards like this card is brand new. It's a promo card. It was given out in insane volume at D23, and it's a $200 floor, and it's been there for weeks. That kind of shows the market that already exists within Lorcana. And right now, when we're in this kind of bear market where a lot of like first chapter Enchanteds and second chapter Enchanteds overall have seen significant retraces, you just got to know where to look to know that things are going very, very well and the game is growing. At the end of the day, there's a lot of loose cards command a very, very high price, and they're getting bought and sold every single day. And I just, that speaks to the strength of the market, if you will. Overall, that's essentially what I wanted to go over today. Not too much new that's on the market. The Set Championship Ursula still remains kind of in that $90-$95 mark, which is close to where we're targeting it, but we want to get a little bit lower. But the story right now truly is Azurite Sea coming out. Let's see what kind of releases and reveals we get from that. Obviously, we know that Oswald is the legendary, or one of the legendaries, but we need to continue to see what comes out there. The D23 box is going absolutely insane. Those alt arts are going to command a significant premium moving forward. So if you haven't gotten one, now might be the time. Now maybe we see a decrease in price, right? $250, I think, on eBay is very fair. $300 on TCG Player would probably hold off at that point, but $250 seems very fairly priced. We're not too far away from getting up to the $300-$400 price point, even on eBay. Couple sales away from that. Now, I do think more would come onto the market. But at the end of the day, I just think that set's going to do very, very well long term. And you got to think, this is immediate, guys. This is right now. You start to think about Lorcana long term and the true opportunity that this game has. And you think about cards like that have a very limited print count. 5 years from now, what's a D23 2024 box going to be worth? Like stuff like that. Just, it's very, very exciting for those of us that are here now. And just a one-off comment, we got a lot of anytime I make a video specifically about like investing, like we did the investment discussion around the first chapter, get a ton of people like, print it to 1 billion. I want resellers to be screwed. Like, just like kind of like demonizing people who have sealed positions or sealed boxes of any of these products. At the end of the day, guys, it doesn't matter how you feel about it. People have been doing this from the beginning of time in terms of like collecting stuff. There's a reason why first edition base set Pokemon boxes are still sealed to this day. It's just a part of the hobby. It's a part of the trading card game industry, and it's essentially a reward system for people who are here and are able to stick it out for a long period of time and not open it, keeping it safe, go through many market cycles where it's up, down, up, down. Those people are rewarded, and maybe that's not you, and that's fine, right? You don't have to have sealed products to enjoy the hobby. I've been on record many times. Holding sealed is lame. I'd get no joy out of keeping a box sealed in my closet. It's just simply for down the road. It's strictly an investment, and that's how I look at it. And look, yes, it's very high risk, right? And we get a lot of people saying like you should never invest money in this, but at the end of the day, it's these markets are real, and you might hate that because this is a kids trading card game, and that's everyone's first thing. This is for kids. This is for kids. Well, I got news for you. Pokemon was for kids when we were kids, and now we're adults and we have real money, and it's not for kids anymore. It's for everyone. Hate to break it to you. Now look, that's not to say it's not for kids, right? My daughter loves the cards. That's why I got into it. That's definitely an aspect of it, but let's not all act like we're not kids enjoying the cards as well. That's definitely a part of it. And at the end of the day, this whole ecosystem needs every piece of it, whether you're strictly a collector, whether you're strictly a player, whether you're strictly a scalper or a reseller, whether you're strictly an LGS, like wherever you fall in the system, this market is made up of all those pieces. No one's bad. No one's, for doing what they do. Now look, if you're just strictly a scalper and you got a bunch of FUD every time anything bad happens, and your only purpose is to run to Target during a restock and then 5x it and sell it online, like, okay, the market could probably go without you. But at the end of the day, all the other people, whether you're a collector, player, etc., it's just all those pieces make this whole thing work, and there just really shouldn't be a lot of hate going on throughout the community. Even the scalpers, they provide a service, if you will. So it may not be the best service, but even selling products at a markup is still giving it the ability for someone else to buy it, and they're willingly participating in that market. So there's nothing really wrong there. At the end of the day, I think that's it, guys. I didn't plan on talking about this, but a curious kind of one off here that we'll end on is the D100 promos. These cards, I definitely don't think these cards were reprinted ever. I think whatever supply is on the market is the supply that's been there for the entire time. Now, obviously, it took a while to sell through this box. I think it was like a $50 or $60 MSRP. But what's interesting is these cards are, it's like, let's use the Genie, for example. I sold a Genie on my eBay store like 2 weeks ago for $49.99 plus $20 in shipping. It was going overseas. So essentially $70. Then I think it costs like 15 or 20 bucks to ship. But a $50 sale. Now that was a PSA 10, but this card gets a gem mint grade the majority of the time. So there's place to be made there is one point that I want to see. But then secondly, the Elsa a few months ago was at like 20, 25, 30 bucks raw. And right now it's sitting at 13, it looks like, for a near mint version 15, essentially. And that's a pretty good price. Once again, if you think about people coming into the hobby 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, if they want to go and collect some of these alt arts, I mean, you're talking about a $15 Elsa alt art. It's got a unique promo on it. It's got unique foiling, coloring. I'm a huge fan of it. I think that this makes a ton of sense as a card. It grades very easily, but the PSA 10 pop report isn't that insane. And so I think that these cards could have some decent value long term. And I love, as a collector, I think that picking up some of these cheap alt arts is just a great way for anyone to get into the hobby. Whether you're going out and getting a Maleficent or Maui, Stitch, Genie, Mickey, Elsa, whatever, a D100 promo. Like, I think those are just cool cards to have in your binder, cool cards to have in your collection. And then when you go into some of the Disney Lorcana just regular promo cards, same thing there, right? You can get some Cindy's, you can get some locations, you can get Hey, like you can get a lot of really cool cards for pretty cheap, right? Finders Keepers, Ursula's Lair, Nala's down at 50 cents, Hidden Inkcaster, looks like Cindy's up at $1 now. There's just a lot of really cool cards you can get for a couple bucks, and anything that you see on this screen that has the promo indicator, any promo in Lorcana essentially, I think, is cold foil. Let me check. There's a couple that come to mind that might not be, but I'm pretty sure anything that is a promo in Lorcana is cold foil. And those are just cool cards to add to your collection, right? The D100 definitely are. Okay, yeah. It looks like anything with a promo indicator is cold foil. I thought that was the case. Just need to double check it. There was one specifically that I was considering, which was like the Pinocchio and the Rapunzel, but they definitely are. And then this guy. Okay, so the Spiel Essen Donald Duck Musketeer is not cold foil. That one is just the regular Musketeer with the Spiel Essen logo at the bottom. But I think that might be the other one. And then also the Gen Con Mickey. Let's see here. Nope, D23 Gamescom Goofy does not. And then Gen Con 2023 Mickey Musketeer does not either. So for the majority of the time, they are promos, are foil promos. When they're not foil promos, they don't have the promo indicator at the bottom. So anything with the promo indicator is cold foil. That's like baseline. Those are all cold foil. Some of the ones that are not are these more unique items, like the Gen Con 2023 Mickey or the Gamescom 2023 Goofy, Spiel Essen, Donald Duck Musketeer. Those are not cold foil. Anything else with the promo is cold foil. I knew that. I just need a refresher. But just something to keep in mind that, once again, as a collector, some of these cards are so cheap, and you can really start a collection just at whatever budget you have, whether that's $10 a week or you've got $200 now and that's all you have. Like, go out and get some cool promos. Like the Stitch card is sick, Nala is sick, and my personal opinion, but the Cindy I love, right? I'm a huge proponent of that. You get a Princess, cold foil. Right now, price is $1. And these are cards that, once again, guys, even from a collector, they look great. I put them in your binder. I have a page dedicated, multiple pages dedicated to promo cards in my binder. I think they look very cool. But even cards like this is one that I've talked about quite a bit. And I always have to give the caveat that I own a ton of these cards, right? And I don't say that to brag. I truly do not. I'm not trying to brag. But whenever I first joined the hobby, these cards were in circulation. These Cindy promo cards. Stores were selling them for 15, 20, 25, 30 cents a piece and selling their entire stock of them. So I was buying quantities of 30, 40, 50 at 15, 20, 25, 30 cents a piece. So I mean, I'm talking I have a lot of these cards. And right now the cheapest anyone can buy it, there's one for $1 and then you can get a couple for $1.50. My cost basis on this card is probably like 20, 30 cents and I probably have close to 1,000 of them. And so, like, obviously that is, like, I'm making that play long-term because I want to have these cards for a long time. I thought they were criminally underrated, so I went out and bought them. But with that being said, these cards are just cool cards to even have going into the future. Because if Lorcana continues to follow even a similar path to, like, Pokemon, for example, the most valuable Pokemon cards are cards that do not come in booster packs most of the time. Whether that be promos, whether that be trophy cards, there's a lot of cards that don't come out of booster packs that typically hold the most value. And so with that being said, that's not to say that these promos are ever going to be $1,000 cards or anything like that. They're absolutely not. But there just isn't as many of them whenever you think about the game continuing to grow and the cycle continuing to evolve. The supply for like the Nala, for example, it's a lot right now. It's down to 50 cents, right? Incredibly cheap card. But at the end of the day, if you go out and there's probably listings for a ton of leaves right now, there's some for 5, 8, not as many as there was in the past. I think that's okay. 76. There you go. Now that's $1, right? But at the end of the day, there's here. Let's filter item price only real quick. So 8 for 53 cents, 7 for 58. Okay. So still not like it was in the Cindy. Here we go. Yeah, 55 for $1. But the point is, right now Nala is a 50-cent card, but in a year from now, is Nala $1.50, $2, $3, $4, $5? I don't know. All I know is I got the Cindy for 25, 30 cents cost basis, and now it's at $1, and then it's a sale away from $1.50. When you go item price, okay, so item price only on the Cindy as well. You can get 4 for 60 cents. You can still get like a decent quantity. You can get some light played 14 for $1. But once again, this is something that, I don't have any listed. I'm not looking to sell the card. This is something that I'm looking to take very far into the future. As people continue to come to the market, does the Cindy gets like a $5 card maybe? Like, I think that's possible. $5 is probably in the range, and then I'm at a 400%. I'm at a 4 to 5x on or way more than that. Yeah, 400 to 500% gain on a card that I just saw a really good opportunity on and had the time to set it aside and not worry about it. And I mean, $1, I'm not dumping them on the market for $1, even though it'd be a decent little gain. I think that it's just a card that has a lot of potential long term, and so I think making some plays like that now that take a little bit more patience, and people are going to be wishy-washy, and I'm starting to see people in my community that'll come back to a video and they'll maybe say some like FUD when in the beginning they were very optimistic, and you can see that those are the people that are kind of getting churned out by the market going through its cycles. And then when, like, let's say a year from now, another bull cycle comes or whenever it does, and we're starting to see the enchanteds go back up, and the first chapter finally dries up, and then we're seeing the floodborn start to rise, and then it dries up, and we're going set by set, and we kind of hit the cycle that is going to happen if Lorcana is still around. You're going to start to see those people come back and kick themselves, because when times like these where cards might be down, they weren't buying. They were kind of sitting on the sideline. They were fudding. They sold their stuff. They thought Lorcana was going to die. Those people just don't have the experience to realize that this stuff is cyclical, and it's going to go up and it's going to go down, and you just have to have the patience to set it aside and not worry about it. And that's why it always comes back to, as a collector, buy what you want. Buy what you want to see in your binder. Buy what you want to get graded. Buy what you want to display. Whatever makes you happy and brings you joy within this hobby, that's the stuff that you should prioritize. Whether that's a $5 Mickey Mouse or a $40 Dragonfire promo from Lorcana Challenge, like whatever brings you joy is where you should go within your budget. And then at the end of the day, it's a win-win. And I think that's the only way to do this hobby. That's the best way to go about it. Buy the things that you like, set up finite goals, define goals that you want to accomplish for your collection, go through those so that way you don't fall into the FOMO and the hype. And, like the D23 box, for example, right now, it's up at $300 when a week ago it was at $200, right? Or $250. So right now, there's probably a lot of people, like you saw the sales, there were people buying 2-3 boxes at $300 a piece. We could see that come back down, right? It's kind of at its high now. So if you already have the promos, already have your sealed boxes like I do, then you don't have to worry about selling it or buying it at $300. You've kind of got it. Now, I'll be transparent. I do want more of those boxes. I'm not going to pay $300 for them. But that could be on me. It could go up to $400 next week. We don't know. All we know is that there's a huge demand there, and people who didn't get them when they were $160, $170 are now paying the price now, buying multiple boxes for $300 a piece when it was much cheaper a week ago. So buy the things that you like, buy the things that you think are cool. Don't get overextended. Have patience, and then you can have cards like the Cindy where if it gets to $5. Realistically, I mean, like, that's thousands and thousands of dollars if I sold them all at $5 that I would have made. Now, once again, that's probably not going to happen. I have no clue where it's going to end at. $5 is a pipe dream. That's a 5x from where it is now. But I'm just so confident in Lorcana that I don't think that the ceiling is defined there. Is the ceiling going to be a $2 card? Maybe. Is it going to be a $3 card? Maybe. Is 5 absolutely out of question? I don't think so. But that's assuming that Lorcana continues to grow and new people are coming into the market and they want to go through and maybe collect some of the lower end promos or whatever it is. And so that's why I went out and bought so many of the Cindy and honestly all the promos. When I saw those bulk listings, I just started filling up a 5-row box of them because I think that once again that's going to be a good long-term hold, and I like the cards. And so that's where I'm at with them. But that was a nice little rant to end it on. We're almost at 30 minutes. Please let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below on the current state of the market and what's going on with all things Lorcana. Very exciting times. We're heading into final Disney Lorcana Challenge events. Then we're getting into Continentals. Then we're getting into Worlds. We got Azurite Sea. There's just so much going on. The pace is insane. It's hard to keep up with, honestly. Like seeing Azurite Sea on TCG Play already, it's like we just got Shimmering Skies. Like I haven't even got to enjoy Shimmering Skies that much. Like these print cycles, and I think 3 months is the right time frame, or 4 months, so you get 3 sets every year. But so 3 months, but 4 months. I don't know. That sounds appealing to me, but I just want things to slow down. I know they're not. This is how these games work. This is how the market works. These new releases are everything. But sheesh, it's to keep up. It's the pace is crazy. So with that being said, guys, that's gonna be it for me today. I'll be back with another video soon. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.